Hello and welcome to today's class. Today we are going to do around 10 to 15 minutes of deep hip opening. All right, so I hope you are ready for that, to really open up the hip flexor area. It is intense, but it is so good for you. So for props, you're going to need a yoga mat, and then you'll probably need 2 yoga blocks and some wall space. I also recommend having some additional cushioning for your knees, so you can get a little blanket or maybe an additional yoga mat. Just something soft to put under your knee will be really helpful when we move up against the wall. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with just some knee circles, just because we're going to be pressing down on our knees and we want them to be nice and warm and blood flow to the area. And change direction. Good. 2, 1. Good. All right, so coming down onto all fours, I'm going to bring my right foot forward to the outside of my mat, and I'm just going to be doing some hip circles. So this is where you might need some additional cushioning under your knee if you're on a hard floor or if your yoga mat is not that thick. And I'm just moving my weight forward and back, change directions. Just getting into the hip socket, so really focus your attention there. Send blood to that area, to that ball and socket joint. Last circle. Good, and let's change sides. Left leg forward to the outside of the mat and deep hip circles. So I'm visualizing this area here. I'm sending oxygen, energy, blood flow to that area, and just setting an intention to allow it to release and open up. Change directions. Good. Nice big circles. Lubricating that entire joint, full range of motion. Good, okay. Let's come up to standing. You're going to bring your right foot forward and we're going to come into a crescent lunge. So that means you're up onto your back big toes, wearing a high heel shoe. You're down nice and deep in your front lunge. Now you can have your hands wherever you want, even holding onto a wall for balance. I like to have mine up above me and sink down nice and low into that front leg, and we're just going to bend and straighten the back leg. Good, okay. So I'm almost tucking my tummy in, zipping up the core, almost tilting my pelvis forward. We're going to come back to this movement, and that's to really help stretch out the front of the hip. When I straighten my back leg, I straighten it completely. So you should feel a bit of a stretch in the thighs, starting to burn. Get down nice and low. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, and then just change it over. So this is still part of our warm-up exercise. So up onto your high heel shoe at the back, tucking my pelvis, so almost dipping my pubic bone underneath me, sinking down nice and low, really stretching out the front of the hip. And bend and then completely straighten. Bend, completely straighten. So the more you can do that, the more you're going to stretch out the front of the hip, which is what we want. Build strength in the glutes at the back. Good, so keep tucking that pelvis, tuck it under, keep it tucked even as you straighten the back leg, and you should feel the thighs start to burn. A good burn. Right, 3 more, 2, 1. Good, all right, that is our warm up done. So you could go and bring your mat up against a wall and have your blocks. Oh, sorry, before we do that, grab your cushioning. Let's practice this 90-90 or high lunge position with the pelvic tilt before we get to the wall. So I'm just placing my knee onto my cushioning, and we're in kind of a high lunge or a 90-90 lunge. And we're just gonna arch the back, and then we're gonna round the spine. So like we're doing a cat-cow almost. And as we're rounding, we're really tucking the pubic bone under. All right, so tilting. So cow tilt and then cat tilt. And this is important because as we do this forward tilt, and let's hold it there now so we can really feel it, I want you to feel how much that really stretches out the front of the thigh. So that's what we want. We want to feel a deep stretch in the front of our hip flexor, all the way down to our knee. And to increase this, you can really squeeze your glutes at the back. So this is the opposite of sitting in a desk all day where you've got, a hip flexor that's kind of always in a crunched position, and then glutes that are always elongated, so become weak. So by switching that around, you're stretching these tight hip flexors and strengthening the weak glutes. So that's what we want. All right, let's switch to the other side. So get your 90-90 shape, 90 degrees between calf and thigh bone, and between thigh bone and torso, and arch, contract, contract. Good. Cat and cow. Use those glutes, so powerful muscles, so squeeze them, really use them at the back, and hold it there. Feel that tilt. So if you are a runner, this is a great stretch to do post-run, just to stretch out those tight hip flexors which have been working really, really hard when you run. Great one to do. Feel that sensation. Good, and now we are ready to move up the wall. So bring your mat along and your extra cushioning. You're going to have a block on either side of you, and we're going to start. Place your cushion right up against the wall. I'm going to take my left knee and I'm going to place it at the back onto the cushioning. Now, if this is difficult for you, you can also do this on a chair. So imagine that this was the seat back of the chair. You'd be standing, you'd have your thigh on the seat of your chair and your shin on the back of your chair. And then you do it in a standing position. It's a lot easier. So grab a chair if you find that you can't get into this one. Grab your blocks, and again, you're going to set up in that 90-90 lunge position. So knee is all the way back. Make sure that your foot is pointing straight up, 12 o'clock, not going in or out to the midline or away. And then you're trying to come all the way up. So this is where it gets intense. 90-90 lunge, foot is up, back behind you. Good. So this already might be feeling like a lot, in which case go grab a chair, or you can come a little down, but we're not yet going into a nice deep lunge. So I do want you to try this position. So if this is already enough, you're going to hold it there. Okay, you can grab onto a wall or a chair just nearby your hand for balance. Now, I want you to try and do that tuck. So feel how much that intensifies the stretch. So arch, contract, cat and cow. Cow, cat, cow, cat. Hold it there if you can. Now, you're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, I want you to kick back into the wall. Just use 20% effort. Inhale, release everything. Exhale, tuck and kick. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck and kick. Very, very intense. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck and kick. Hold it there. Keep that resistance, just 20%. You don't need to kill yourself. You can release the tuck slightly if you need to. Good, and then we're going to come down now. So this should feel like a bit of a relief from being up in our 90-90 lunge. We're now in a deep lunge. You can use your blocks for support just to make yourself more comfortable. Check that that foot is still facing 12 o'clock. And you're just pushing up against the blocks, coming down as deep as what you can manage. Good. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, kick back. 20% effort. Kick your foot backwards into the wall behind you. Inhale, release, and see if you can sink down even lower. Exhale, resist. Kick back. Feel how much that opens the front hip. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale, release. See if you can come down even lower. Exhale, kick it back. Inhale, release. Exhale, kick back. And last one, inhale. Exhale. And slowly release. All right, use your blocks. Come out of that carefully. Just watch the knees. Switch your cushioning over to the other side. And let's set up. All right, so you've got your knee all the way back. Remember, you can be up on your chair. Foot is pointing up to 12 o'clock. Setting up for your 90-90 lunge. Right, so if this is too intense, please go and grab that chair and just do it with the chair. So your knee will be on the seat of the chair, your foot will be up by the seat back, and you'll just be holding onto a wall or something for balance. All right, so in this position, if it is not already too intense just to hold it, then I want you to start with your cat and cow tilts. Good, tucking and arching, tucking, and that really does make a huge difference. You can also start getting into the practice of, as you tuck your spine, you also squeeze the glutes. The more you squeeze the glutes, the more you force the hips to release. So get into that habit. Just feel what that feels like. Remember to breathe. And let's go ahead and hold the tilt and apply some resistance. So inhale and exhale, kick back. 20% effort only, not even close to 100%. Inhale, release. Exhale, tilt and kick. Inhale, release. I know it's intense. Exhale, tilt and kick. Imagine if you did this every day, how you would transform your flexibility. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck and kick. Tuck that pelvis. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck and kick. Last one, inhale and exhale. Good, and now start to make your way down into a deep lunge, which should feel really nice, hopefully. So you're up higher on your blocks. Maybe you haven't gone into your full expression yet of this pose, which is great. We'll be doing that as we go along. So inhale to prepare. Exhale, no tucking now, just kicking back into the wall, 20% effort, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, release, see if you can come down lower. Exhale, push back. Inhale, come down even lower. Exhale, kick back. Inhale, see if you can come down lower. Exhale, kick back. Inhale, exhale, kick back. Last one here, inhale and exhale, kick back. Good, and then slowly use your blocks just to help you push yourself out of that very carefully. Make your way back to your mat. You can leave your cushioning to the side. And there we have it. Take a moment to check in. Feel the sensations around the hip area. Do you feel increased blood flow? Do you feel more open? Do you feel a sense of energy? These are all things that it's really good to note. It's a small victory. It means that you have done something wonderful for your body and your whole internal system. It is rejoicing inside there, I can promise you. So just take note of how your body feels, pat yourself on the back, and I really hope to see you in our next workout together.